Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and joining me today is my co-host, the mystic dealer, the third-eyed mystic herself, the ever-so-lovely Neima.
Yeah,
Gosh, how are you doing, Neima?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, but this was the show that just did not want to happen. And yet, here we are. We're making it happen.
Yep. Third time's a charm.
Today we have a very interesting topic. It can get kind of deep. Hey Angie. Yeah, this one could get a little deep, and normally we like to keep it lighthearted, but at the same time when things happen, you have to talk about it just to spread out that information, and this is something that's very current, and it seems like it's just not going to stop, at least not anytime soon. So, Niema, take it away. Go.
Oh, about the Epstein case? Have you guys ever heard of Jeffrey Epstein? Thank God he's in prison and awaiting trial. Finally. I don't know.
Okay, so Epstein is a very sick individual, and this guy, he liked he liked having relationships with girls, and I say that with every single intent of the world. Girls, not young women, and when I say young women, like 18, 20, whatever, but little girls, and that's how I see it, and it's something very wrong there. And he's been doing this for decades, and this was a powerful guy too. I believe he's a billionaire, right?
Yeah, he's a multimillionaire, owns his own private island where he used to take some of the elite to have these orgy parties with girls that he would sex traffic, all below the age of 18. So it's really upsetting. I mean, this was back, I think his first case was in 2000, 2004, or the girl that's accusing him now dates back all the way to 2004. But he's had previous charges and he's just gotten away with it. Like they lowered uh, his counts to minimal stuff, and he really didn't get charged for anything, got out of it. And this is a brand new case taking place in New York. So hopefully they actually give him what he deserves instead of letting him slide just because he has so much money.
I think I don't think he's going to get out of jail this time. I do believe he's going to be in the cell with Bubba.
Right. And since with the whole Me Too movement going on and a lot of people are coming forward, I think it's making it a lot easier to make this case more permanent because a lot of girls are stepping up and saying, "Hey, that happened to me too. I was there." Yada yada yada.
Yeah, so good riddance. Just that simple.
Mm,
Now, what's even more disturbing is this guy hung out with powerful people, the Clintons and Trump, and probably a few other politicians, but those are the most the ones who have the most notoriety, and it's nuts because sometimes, even though chances are they didn't do anything, in the back of my head, I'm like, man, what if these political leaders did stuff? And it reminds me of an episode of All Things of Dr. Phil where what'd you say, Nima?
nothing. I was just laughing at Dr. Phil. He's pretty
Well, it
cool.
reminds me of an episode, and a young woman was on there, and she said that she was quite literally a sex slave for politicians, like powerful in office politicians.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. And I believe her. Like, it's no, if she is lying, then she is the best gosh darn actress I've ever seen. Like,
Hmm.
and I felt really bad. Normally, I have no feelings. I am an emotionalist whore, but I felt really, really bad because throughout her entire childhood into her adult life, she was just abused, taken advantage of, no will of her own.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
things like that, I don't talk about it often, but things like that get to me. Like, I don't want to see people lose their life or get taken advantage of like that. And, these guys in office who have this political power, they're able to do it. And the question is it because they just get on a power trip, or are they just despicable folks?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out. I mean, I've been keeping up with a lot of the media that's going into sex trafficking and stuff like that. And I'm trying to wrap my head around why the elites have this thing where they have to abuse the naive and innocent. And I just can't, I just don't understand. And I'm continuing to try and learn, like, why would someone do this? Why is this okay? But I'm glad that it's coming to light, and people are actually getting court dates. I mean, the FBI is actually looking into it, and they're connecting dots, and people are going to start, you know, getting what's coming to them in some sort of way.
Yeah, karma is coming for payment. We'll put it that way.
Hmm.
Now, on the flip side of that, though, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but do you think it's possible that some women might use this Me Too movement, and not just women, but there are guys who will do it too, but they'll use this movement as a way to get someone who scorned them in trouble?
I mean, define scorned and like what? Give me an example.
Uh, Basically, and this is a real thing. Um, do you remember the Duke case where this woman accused the team of raping her?
Oh no.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a few years back now, but she accused the team of raping her, and this is before the Me Too movement. And the recording disconnected for a second, but it is back. And I was saying that uh, the Duke case, it was a few years back now, but I think it was a lacrosse team. They were accused of rape by this woman, and this is before the Me Too movement,
Hmm.
and all of them pretty much almost had their lives derailed. It turns out she was lying,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah, she was lying. And the thing is, though, if we were in this era of Me Too and she accused them now, would we believe the the Duke lacrosse team and that they were innocent and they didn't do anything, or would we condemn them? Because unfortunately, I'm afraid that sometimes we're getting a knee jerk reaction. Oh,
Hmm.
now it says the stream resumed. Okay.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm worried that we're getting a knee jerk reaction, and
Hmm.
it can literally put innocent people in a spot that they can never recover from.
True. True.
And,
Yeah.
so if someone, like, one of the worst things you can do to a guy is accuse him of rape when he's didn't do anything. Their life's over. That's simple. Even if they're innocent, that stigma, it still stays. So, what does that make the accuser? Are it would they be just as bad as someone who goes through with the crime because they're legit trying to ruin someone's life? Or
Hmm.
are they just someone who's angry and, just whatever?
Right. Yeah. And that sucks because there's not. I mean, you can't always provide enough proof in these cases. So it's really discerning if they're who's telling the truth and
Yeah,
who's
and
not.
then for people who really were attacked and they were raped or molested, whatever, it hurts their case.
True.
So, so that's why where I'm at with the Me Too movement. I see the good, but I also see things that potentially won't be so good.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'll never forget that Duke lacrosse kid. Like that woman straight up lied. And I'm not sure what happened to her. I don't know if she got jail time or anything. I have no idea.
Hmm.
So, but
Yeah, that sucks.
yeah, but Epstein, Epstein. No,
You're
it's
right,
Epstein.
Epstein.
God darn it! I
Epstein
actually said
case.
it
You're right.
right, and I still had it wrong. Well, that prick, though, it's evidence up the yin yang, as they say, and he's definitely going into a cell with Bubba. He deserves it, and so be it.
Mhm. Yep. Still awaiting trial. I'm
But
on the lookout.
if he gets away with this, big if, do you think it's because of the money?
Oh, of course. I mean, if he still has his same lawyer that basically got him off of his first accusations in Florida, but those charges were lowered to like state prostitution charges, which is totally just minimal charges. And then now this next one is happening. I mean, I think definitely he's a multimillionaire. And if he can do it the first time, I wouldn't be surprised if he managed to weasel his way out of this one with some different charges,
Okay.
especially because he has so much elite backing him up. And if he goes down, it's probably going to be a ripple effect, and other people are going to have accusations put on them. So,
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. And
mm-hmm.
this is something that you brought to my attention, and it originally occurred in 2014. And if you guys listened to the In Case You Missed It, you'll probably know what I'm about to bring up, and no, it's not the woman peeing on potatoes, which is
What?
disgusting and amazing at the same time.
How does this shit get on the internet? Was she drunk?
I don't know what she was, but oh wait, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they did charge her with being drunk in public. So,
Okay.
but that's pretty. I'm disgusted and yet amazed because she had to. This happened in Walmart, of course, but she literally had to climb up there where because the potatoes aren't on the ground and I don't know, somehow get her legs positioned correctly, squat or whatever, and do her thing. It's like, what the heck? And it's on camera. And I normally would not say this, but I want to see how she did it.
Yeah. Seriously.
And
I mean, I don't want to watch it, but I do want to watch it.
yeah, it's weird because it's like, this is so gross yet entrancing. Um, so I hope no one bought any potatoes. And she would have gotten away with the two if she didn't leave a puddle behind. So apparently she had to really go.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not the thing. The thing that Neema brought to my attention that I spoke about was actually this terrible thing that happened in Arizona where it was a lot of dismemberment and some Frankenstein stuff happening.
Yeah. So FBI found buckets of heads, arms, legs, bodies sewn together at Arizona body donation facility, which was raided in 2014. But finally, one of the FBI agents has an interview and is on the internet, basically talking about the findings and how despicable it was.
Yeah, so like you said, the information and details really just came out last month, and I think they said that it was it a small head on like a giant body or something, a woman's head on a male torso.
Yeah, they did it as a joke and hung it up somewhere in the facility.
I mean,
And yeah, I
again,
mean,
what type of person do you have to be to enjoy something like that, to do something like that? That is beyond sick and just gross.
yeah, I mean, I can't even begin to imagine if this place was haunted Like how many pissed off spirits are just staring at their bodies like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, and no, but the thing is, the people, they did it and saw nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, they see it as a joke, I guess. And that actually leads me to this. Because they don't see anything wrong with it, is it bad? We have to go into a bit of a morality thing. Like, is that bad?
Mm.
Like, if you truly feel you've done nothing wrong, then how can you say that you're a bad person?
You mean because they're naive to the thought process where that could be bad?
I mean, yeah, you could say that.
Okay. I mean, I can see that outlook, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of these people who were probably working in the facility probably got so desensitized because, I mean, if you're working with body parts that are donated from family members and you're trying to do uh, quote unquote the good thing and use those body parts for science, which is what they donated them for, I think it starts out good, but I think you get so desensitized from seeing it all the time. And, obviously these parts are just stacking up and they're really not going anywhere and nothing's happening, but you still have to work. You still have to be around that atmosphere. So maybe, I mean, you kind of just get used to it and then you start fucking around. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, there should still be someone who's over them or has some type of responsibility just to say, okay, kids, we're not doing this.
Yeah, like this needs to quit. Have respect.
But then again, maybe they, yeah, like you said, they could be desensitized or they just never saw anything wrong with it to begin with. Kind of like, and I've used this as an example several times, but the indigenous people somewhere next to the volcano is about to erupt, and they're like, oh no, the volcano god is angry. Get that virgin and sacrifice him. And so they
Mm,
get a virgin and they throw him in the volcano. I mean, is that them being bad or is that them, fearing for their lives and have to do what you got to do?
right, trying to appease the gods that be.
But then I suppose there also is a difference. One is just ignorance and not knowing any better versus
Hmm.
one you should know better and yet you don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, and then if that was your family member, what would you do? How would you feel if your family member was just
I
stapled
mean,
together?
personally, it hit me because I'm like, I've always wanted to be an organ donor because I thought, oh, okay, if I get in a car wreck and all my organs are so good, of course I would want them to go to someone who actually needed them. Um, so I'm thinking, oh, so that's where my body would be,
Don't.
just cut up somewhere.
And I will say this: you are such a good person. You just made me feel so selfish right now. I am not an organ donor. I have my reasons. I won't go into it, but yeah. But yeah, that's terrible though, because imagine
Hmm.
people who were donors and what if they never got that? Like, what if they were taking kidneys or whatever and selling them on the black market?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, those are
Yeah,
hot
this
commodities.
this FBI agent stated that after they raided the place, I guess his grandmother had donated her body parts to science,
Oh,
and so like 2 weeks later or something, a thing of ashes showed up, and he's like, I don't even know if this is really her or not.
yeah.
Who knows what they put in it?
So, and now I do want to say, guys, we're talking about all this for a specific reason, and we're going to get to that reason in a second. And you're all going to say, oh, what if? So, I hope you guys do that, actually. That'll be really cool. So, when we get to that point, if you're still listening and you're in chat, just everyone type in, oh. All right, just do that for me so I can feel good. Okay, so recently as well, ice raids have started to pop up more and more, and
Mhm.
some have gone. Some of the raids have gone better than others, and then some not so much. And again, you're the one who brought this to my attention, so you could take this one away, and then I'll jump in with some stuff.
Well, I mean, it just was brought to my attention because I've seen a lot of posts talking about them separating families and basically, but I have other stuff is saying, okay, they gave these people a notice that they needed to show up to court and to plan their way back home, like they need to leave. And since they did not follow orders or show up to court, this is when the ice raids are happening and they're going in and taking those people and sending them back. Um, but it's also overpopulating the border facilities.
Yeah.
So a lot of these kids are alone, like they're living in unhealthy situations, like there's no soap. You have 3-year-olds taking care of babies, like it's just over overstimulated, too much. So I'm like, it is an issue, but at the same time, is it like we warn these people? Does this need to happen? I don't know.
I think there's a better way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, it's like, well, if you were told, then this was expected. But I don't think it's any need to. Well, okay, first things first. We do need to upgrade these facilities, make them bigger, make them more advanced, whatever. Just do what you need to do to just make them more humane. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're here illegally, then yeah, you it's a chance that someone's going to come and boot you out. It's just one of those
Mm-hmm.
things. It's the law. I'm sorry. That's how it goes. However, there is a humane way of detaining someone and going through the process of getting them back to their country of origin or whatever. Kicking in someone's door at midnight and putting a gun to their head and then ripping their kids away or whatever, that's not the way to do it in my opinion. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it's a tactic that creates fear, and that fear is just going to lead to a bigger divide, and eventually it's going to lead to violence, and everything is just going to crumble faster.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
And it's almost like though they want this to happen, because I think there are some heartless people involved, because it's just from a human standpoint, like you see
Mm-hmm.
that these facilities, there's something wrong. They are extremely overcrowded, which I want to know, why are they so overcrowded? I know there are an abundance of people coming in from the border, and I understand that, but why don't we have something in place where, I don't know, can't we just this sounds terrible, but can't we don't we have like government planes or something we could put them on, and work out deals with the countries of origins, like, hey, this is where he's from, you can't be here unless you're going to come in legally or whatever, with the right paperwork and stuff, and like let's go back home and do it the right way or something.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure these elite people can like give some money to pay for the flights or whatever
Well,
needs to be done.
but then I guess the true issue is too, though, it's the corporations that are exploiting the illegal immigrants. It's not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
the illegal immigrants themselves, but the companies that hire them and everything. Like a lot of hotels that hire the use Air Force One, the the a lot of the hotels that use the maid services and everything, and then they use this excuse that they do the jobs Americans don't want, which I think is total horse poop. Like, because I'm telling you now, th- if you're a teenager, because that's where a lot of these jobs are. I'll use McDonald's as an example. If you're a teenager and you want money, you're going to work anywhere because a teenage boy wants to impress that teenage girl. I know this because I was once a teenager. Did not go good for me, but some other guy, Chuck, he would, yeah, he wants to impress Susie, and he will do anything. And the jobs at a lot of the fast food joints or at the tuna factories and all that used to be teenage jobs. Then they're called starter jobs for a reason. It's not, you're not supposed to make a living wage off of them. They are low income for a reason because it was to get you in the door so you can get some experience and understand what you're doing and build
Mhm.
some responsibility. But cheap labor comes in, and yeah, but now everyone wants $15 an hour minimum wage, which that in itself is a whole nother issue. And I'm getting too political. I'll have a political show one day. But anyway, back to what we were saying. Yeah, these ICE raids, I get where they're coming from, but they can be done better.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who can put a gun to a kid's head, I'm sorry, but you're a terrible person. That's simple. You're a
Mm.
terrible person and you need to get beat.
Ooh, burn.
And this leads us to this because recently there's been a lot of mass shootings. And I mean, it's pretty nuts. And of course, when you think of mass shootings, the first place you think of is the US of A. Oh, Lady Liberty is crying.
Uh,
Well, the thing is, actually, before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the energies and all of this. So, guys, get ready to go. Oh, I see. All right. So, get ready. Neima, I introduced you to the cycle of the yugas.
yes, you did.
And I
Hmm.
introduced you to this because what you were saying about perhaps we as humans are dealing with a darker energy that's overcome us or something like that. You made me think of it. So I was like, hey, check this out. And I believe we are in Kali Yuga. And if you know your Hindu mythology, Kali is the goddess of destruction. You don't mess with Kali. Actually, she's the goddess of time and destruction, but it doesn't matter. Goddess of destruction. Oh, also, if you're a movie buff, you'll know that she was the goddess who was called in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where the priest pulled out the guy's heart and Kalima, Kalima. So, I yeah, fun fact for you guys. Anyway, but when we're in the Kali Yuga, we as humans, as spiritual beings, are at our lowest. Physically, emotionally, and even mentally. We don't care for one another. We do things that we normally wouldn't do or shouldn't do. We don't care about right and wrong, and we just don't care.
Hmm.
And when that happens, it has a type of ripple effect, I think, where if you see one person who doesn't care, then they say, why should I? And so on and so forth. And with the cycle of Kali Yuga, it could be an energy, a literal negative type energy that is covering us, that could be a possible cause for us doing these dastardly things like molesting little girls or chopping up body parts and laughing about it like, yeah, it's nothing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. From the thing I was watching, it really talks about the Kali. What is it? Yuga.
Yes.
Yuga. Uh, being consumed with materialism and just placing that over presidents. So, I mean, I think it has a lot of strong points. And the video that I was watching, he even talked about it transforming into technology and how we want to put consciousness into technology because we're so separated from our spirit and connection with one another. So I think it's true. I mean, I could see a lot of truth in that.
Yeah. And I do believe we're on the tail end of it because, as you guys can see,
Hmm.
I am a believer in it, but I think we're on the tail end of it because, interestingly enough, people are starting to grow taller, and now we're seeing more movements. And I'm not talking about those fake movements under those SJWs. I'm talking about actual real movements where it's like, all right, let's help one another, but I'm not going to tell the world that I'm helping someone. They don't need to know. Um, a person who did that I know of is Ashton Kutcher. He does a lot of stuff, and he won't share it.
What do you mean?
Ashton Kutcher, like I think he saved like a couple of thousand young girls from sex trafficking.
Oh, because he's the co-founder of Thorn Organization,
Yeah,
which is a great organization. Yeah.
and then a lot of people don't know this, but you know the band Fallout Boy?
Uh huh.
They are helping with the invisible children agenda in Africa. Like they don't talk about it, but you know the blood diamond trade where these militias they kidnap young boys, drug them up, have them fight, and get diamonds and all that stuff, and sell them.
Wow.
It's pretty bad, but you know they're involved in trying to stop that,
Yeah.
and they've been doing that for I think a decade now, maybe over a decade. And
Mhm.
of course, those are just two examples and celebrities, but I know it's everyday folks who do things and you'll never know about it. The unsung heroes,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
agree.
And I do think that, you know, little by little, we're seeing more of that happen, but the SJW stuff, I don't get behind. I think it's just noise and complaining just to make noise and complain. I mean, don't get me wrong, acceptance is cool, but I don't think you can force something on someone. It just creates resentment.
Hmm.
Um,
True.
but yeah, back to the Kali Yuga. I'm thinking we're on the tail end of it, and we're seeing good things start to crop up more and more. But the problem is, before something ends, it always gets way harder.
Look out.
And I mean, I look at the rise of ISIS and I look at what's happening in the US and pretty soon what's going to be happening in England, man, with that Brexit, man. You guys better watch out.
Mm.
And it's just crazy. It's such a divide. It's weird.
Mm. So when you say tail end though of Kali Yuga, what are you what are you guesstimating that we have until we're finally ascending the
Well,
Hara?
I think I think it's when I say that, I mean it almost makes it sound like, oh yeah, it's just a couple of years left, but more like a couple of centuries. So, but the Kali Yuga is supposed to be, I think, it spans 3,000 years, 3,500 years or more. And since we don't exactly know the timeline on when it started, because it's impossible to keep dates like that, we can only estimate. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's what I'm doing here. I can only go with my feelings, which could be wrong. So when I say tail end, I literally mean like maybe a century or 2 centuries left of it. It's not going to end in our lifetime, but 2 generations from now, I believe it will. And we are definitely going to, well, we won't see it, or maybe we will, I don't know, show up as a ghost. But we're going to see the world have a renaissance. And I think it's going to be a legit worldwide phenomenon.
Hmm. Can't wait.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, you're gonna have to, but again, that's just my opinion. I can't back it up with anything. But saying that though, you know, just because something seems bad and you have this weird energy, and I mention this energy a lot because we know that the cosmics, the heavenly bodies, they play an effect on us. We know the moon controls water. It definitely affects pregnant women. I believe the sun can have an effect on us. And who's to say that other planets aren't affecting us? I mean, especially with the size of Jupiter. And then you think about astrology and how that goes. I mean, before we started, I was halfway joking, but then I wasn't. With Neima being an airhead because she's a Gemini and it's an air sign, and she's like, well, might be partially right. So, and this stuff comes from somewhere, and these
Yeah.
energies, I really do think they affect us, and it's something affecting us worldwide. But for some reason, though, it really seems to affect the Western Hemisphere, not just the US, but the Western Hemisphere in general. Although I suppose Canada is kind of safe somehow. I'm not entirely. Well, no, Canada, they have a dark history as well. They just don't talk about it.
Keep it under wraps.
Yeah, so they're smart. It's like, no, let the states deal with it. Um, but yeah, in the Western Hemisphere, though, for some reason, like it just seems like we're so violent and crazy. Oh, and by the way, guys, now you can go, oh, I see. Um, we're just so violent and crazy and sporadic and just savages. I mean, that's the only way to put it. We are savages.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to go into some of the shootings and all that's happened over the past few days. All right, so here's some statistics for you. And Neema, so you can know, this is the gun statistics from CNN.
Okay.
So this was last updated, according to CNN, 10:18 a.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, August 6th, 2019. Americans own nearly half, that's 46%, of the estimated 857 million civilian owned guns worldwide. The population of the US, I think it's supposed to be about 300 million.
Hmm.
Explain that one to me.
Right.
I
We like
mean,
our guns.
that is crazy. I mean, Americans own more guns per capita than residents of any other country. In second place, it's Yemen with 52.8 firearms per 100 people. And then Montenegro is 39.1, Serbia 39.1, Canada, surprisingly, 34.7. Uh-oh, we're rubbing off on them. Uruguay, Cyprus, well, Uruguay 34.7, Cyprus 34.0, Finland 32.4, Lebanon 31.9, Iceland is actually really surprising to me, but Iceland 31.7. Again, this is average firearms per 100 people. In the US, it's 120 per 100 people.
Wow. Wow. That is insane.
I mean, I don't understand that. Why do we need so many? and I'm not even against guns. I mean, if you want one, get one. It's your right. Just be responsible. And this leads to this one, because now we're going to go to the mass shootings. I just wanted to get those statistics out there. It's hard to label what is and isn't a mass shooting because by it's several definitions. Um, by FBI standards, they say it's three or more people have to be killed to consider it a mass shooting. But then, saying that, some definitions say it's four or more. So if we
Mm.
go by those definitions, then in the U.S., because according to one researcher, they said that we have the most mass shootings in the world. Um, water guns. According to the numbers from this year, 2019, there was 252 mass shootings in the U.S. However, if we take that definition into account, then it drops to 31, and that puts us in 12th, I believe, 12th or 11th worldwide, which is still pretty high considering how many countries there are, but that's a major
Right.
drop off.
Mhm.
So I it's hard to say what is or isn't a mass shooting, and then we have to separate them from, of course, criminal shootings, like just gangs and all that stuff. That's a whole nother ball game, which one day I will get into. I have my thoughts on that. Okay, so continuing on from the mass shootings, interestingly enough, this one is kind of funny, but not too unheard of. According to the Statista from 1982 to August 2019, there have been 64 mass shootings committed by white people, 19 committed by black people, 10 by Latino, 8 by Asian, 5 by other, 4 unknown. That's interesting. What, was it an alien? And 3 by Native Americans. So,
3. That's funny.
so by these statistics, it says white people are crazy, which is
They
fine.
are. We are. We are.
But this brings me to this one now. Why is it that a white person is more likely to go postal and shoot up an entire group of people?
Man, their temper.
Oh,
I,
100%,
I,
Alicia. I agree with you. I'm just saying the numbers.
what did Alicia say?
Everyone can be crazy.
Yeah, that's true. But I've met more crazy white people.
No, but honestly though, that to me is something that's very interesting. It's like what happens that causes this? I mean, that's a really high number, 64, then the next one 19 and so on and so forth. So, what causes that to happen? Like is it is it something neurological between the races or what? And I mean, there's no discrimination there. That's literally everyone needs to pay. But why? What happened that where everyone needs to pay?
Yeah, I feel like the lower classes, I think they watch the news and they see all this Trump stuff, and then their family supports Trump and they're Republican, and they see everything going on with the raids, and they get it inside their head that, oh, these people are taking over our country. Oh, we need to get them out. White supremacy, and they just get that angst like they, I don't know, deserve the world or something, and I think they act on it. It's crazy.
Well, now this kind of goes back to uh, a hero syndrome, as I call it. Um, And what I mean by this is the person who has that, like, what was it? He was 21. We talked about it the other day. He was 21 and he was the one in El Paso,
Hmm.
and I think he's the one who wanted to kill all the Mexicans, right?
Yeah.
And which is just outrageous. People are people. Like, yeah, I openly admit people get on my freaking nerves, but I wouldn't want to take another's life. I'll torture you. I'll punch you. But you get to live, and maybe we could shake hands and have a drink afterwards. But this guy literally thought he was doing something right. Like, he's a
Hmm.
hero.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
he's not. I mean, he's not a hero at all. He's a killer. But in his mind, he's doing something right. And he doesn't see anything wrong with it.
Hmm.
And I'll bring up another case from LA. And this is from a few years back. Christopher Dorner. He's a black guy, former LAPD, and he wanted his name cleared. They lied about him on some stuff, and he went on a rampage and killed two cops, I think. And he wasn't after the general public, just anyone who had a badge, and that's how mad he
Wow.
was. And you know, he never said he was a hero, but he felt he was justified in his actions.
Hmm.
So, does that make him a bad person for taking a life?
Mm. Yeah.
It's very weird, and you don't want to see these things happen. And at the bigger picture, why does it happen so much in the States?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to know. What is it in the Western Hemisphere? And to give you guys an even better example, the U.S. isn't the most dangerous place in the West. Uh, I think it's Colombia, Honduras, Panama's pretty bad. Mexico's bad with the cartels, where it's hundreds of thousands of people who turn up missing, who are dead, etc., etc. And why is that? And it goes back to me wondering about the energy in the cosmos just having effect on us. And perhaps for whatever reason in this part of the world, we're just a little bit nuttier and we just care a little bit less. But then, some would say we need stricter gun laws and all of that. But the other countries that have a butt ton of guns, I mean, yeah, we have more, but the other countries that have a butt ton more, they don't deal with these mass shootings or killings and all of that. Is it because they have a better mental health understanding and education? I mean, or is it like, are their gun laws much stricter? I don't know. I mean, but I want to know. Like, does it
Mm.
actually have to do with the positioning of the continents and the countries, and actually having the universe affect this energy? Is it
Mm.
ignorance? I mean, I don't know.
Good point.
So it's honestly, it's an unexplained possibility.
Yeah.
And even more troubling is this. According to Statista, it has been 36 school shootings this year.
Wow.
Now we have to do better. 36.
That's just insane. Too much.
So I I don't know. Some folks they like saying that we need stricter gun laws, and then of course you have the side that said no, we need mental health stuff. I think we need both. Like, and I was talking to you about this the other day, where I think we should just have a tier system where, you know, tier one, you get your mental evaluation, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
go to class for 6 weeks or whatever, or well, yeah, 3 months, and you get your license to use handguns, and then you want something else, wait a few months, get another mental evaluation, and you could get your tier two weapons, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but then saying that, it's almost like this: if someone wants a gun, they're gonna get a gun.
Hmm. Yeah, true. I
And
mean,
I was trying to use an example of Neema. I thought she was a party animal in high school, but she was not. She was very much a goody two shoes. Go figure. And
I
and
mean, I think, yeah, in high school, I've never been to parties, but I remember being in middle school in downtown Phoenix, and there was definitely friends who would just show up and they had like guns on them. And I'm like, this kid is literally 12. What is this kid doing with a gun?
well, you said Phoenix, so I mean it's Arizona. I mean,
True. True.
yeah, you have a point, Angie. Um, but yeah, it's Arizona, unfortunately. But no, though, it's just weird. Like, if someone wants something, they're gonna find a way to get it. And now with 3D printers, even though they're expensive right now, you can just get the schematics and make your own, which is rather scary.
Wow, that's interesting. That's cool.
Uh-oh, Neema has plans, I see. Ooh. About how much does a 3D printer go for, Melvin? What you guys? Well, yeah. Unfortunately, the West has been romanticized too, But yeah, the West was terrible. Everyone had syphilis. Ugh.
Oh, jeez.
No, the West was bad, but yeah. So there we go. Let's get off of this. Let's talk about some fun stuff for the remainder of time we have left, which is about 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm just closing things out. I don't even want to see you, sons of monkeys, uncles. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to end on a sour, dark note. That's not me. That's not this
Right.
show.
Yeah.
So, guys, you want to know a secret? Niema, do you want to know a secret?
I mean, yeah. If you're willing to tell it, go ahead.
Okay. So, I just found out that every conflict Sorry, I was reading what Angie was saying. I just found out that oh wow,
Okay.
actually I can't say that.
What?
I can't say it. I cannot say this one,
Oh,
unfortunately.
come on. Come
No, 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 no. I
on.
literally can't say it. I
What
made a
kind of
promise not
setup
to
is
say it.
that? Oh.
I want to, but no, I got to keep my word. Always keep your promises, no matter how stupid they are.
Mm.
Anyway, okay, so let's actually talk a little bit about energy. Nima, do you believe in universal energy?
Yes,
You do. And why do you believe in it?
because I see it.
You see it. Okay.
I mean, well, I mean, I feel like I can. I I think everything is energy. So, and I usually see it, especially in the dark or when I go to sleep. I just see energy all the time. So I don't know because I see it.
Okay. And how does it affect you?
I mean, personally, I just don't know how to deal with it because I don't know what I'm seeing. Like I can't. I mean, there's no explanation for it. It's just like energy fading in and out and moving and almost like static. So I don't
Okay.
know. It's
Now,
cool. It's cool
uh,
to look at.
it's cool to look at. Now, do you believe that putting out your own positive vibes will actually attract more positive energy and vibrations?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Definitely.
so in that sense, then, how do you go about doing that?
I just try and keep my thoughts positive, and whether that's thinking about someone in a positive light, um, saying what I want to happen, saying my goals, meditating on those, saying positive things in my head before I go to sleep, like just stuff like that.
Okay, I get you. That makes sense. And what about when you come in contact with another person?
What do you mean, like a negative person?
Yeah, a negative person.
Uh, I figured out that most people just want to get something out of you. So if negative people approach me and I can tell they're trying to get a negative reaction back or trying to get something out of me, I usually just avert the situation, and I'm usually nice about like, hey, like, ending the conversation and leaving it as it is and walking away. So I mean, I guess it could be summed up as not entertaining the negative energy because it's just going to develop and fester and explode.
I'm sorry, I'm moving around here and
Yeah, I hear you
I
shuffling cards.
yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna steal a page from Bonnie's book and actually just pick a card for a few folks if they want it. So I don't know who's left in chat, but I'll pick one for you, Neema. Angie, I know
Okay,
you're here, and if there's someone else still here, I'll pick one for you too.
go, go.
Oh, you want this? Okay. And you know what? I'll even use Raphael's deck.
Hmm.
So, all right. So, Brandy, you get one as well. So, give me 1 second, guys. Neema, keep them entertained. Go.
So, my favorite tarot deck is actually called the Voyager Tarot, and it's really detailed. It's made by James. Oh no, James Wenlis wrote the book on it, but he gave it detailed book. Oh, he actually made the tarot too. Artist Ken Knudsen? I don't know. But it is literally my favorite tarot. It's probably the only one I have second to the Rider Waite, whatever, however you say it. But that one's a really good one. You should check it out. Me and Melvin were just discussing different tarot decks. If you guys have any favorites, go ahead and comment that because I actually am looking for my third set.
Oh, I
Let's see
already
if I
know
can
what
find
Angie's going to say.
a new
Morgan
good one.
Greer.
Morgan Greer.
Morgan
Okay.
Greer.
Okay.
All right. So, I got these cards out. I'm mixing them and shuffling them. And, uh, Brandy, if you want, we'll start with you first. Like, I'll pick a card and see what's up. If you want it, it's up to you. Oh, and I should probably fix this mic. Oops. All right. So I'm just shuffling. Pick a number between 1 and 50. Oh yes, the Marigold Tarot deck. You haven't seen that one, have you, Neema?
No. What's
All
it called?
right.
The Merry-Go?
The Marigold Tarot deck.
Marigold.
Yeah, just type a number between 1 and 50.
Oh, that one's cool. I like the art.
Angie and I especially like the Chariot. 11. Okay. I should have known you were gonna say 11. I don't know why I forgot. Yeah, I should have known. All right. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so this is for Brandy, aka Free Me Life. Awesome chick. And 11. Oh, 2 cards came out. Interestingly enough. So, Brandy, the 9 of Cups came out for you, and also the King of Pentacles. I'm getting my cheat sheet here because I'm still learning these cards. But I can tell you right away, with the 9 of Cups, that one is... it's about success after small setbacks. So you might have hit a bump somewhere, or maybe you felt like you did, but don't worry. You're going to get through that no problem, and success is coming your way. And it looks like having a partner in crime, whether it be a romantic partner or a good friend, that's who's going to help you with it tremendously. So, this one is actually a really good card, and it's a pretty card too. I'll email you what it looks like, and so you can see it. You know, I don't want you to be like, oh wow, you pulled the card, I have no idea what it looks like. But yeah, this one is talking about success after setbacks. So if you hit a bump in the road, don't worry. It's just that, a little bump. Success is still coming. And having a partner is gonna make you all the more successful. So keep going. And the King of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards because it's a card of wisdom, in my opinion, and being grounded. So, uh-oh. Wait a second. Brandy, I might have accidentally given you the wrong reading. I am not Bonnie here. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I think I may have accidentally given you the wrong one.
What?
Oh boy. Thank God I don't get paid for this. The 9 of Cups. I'm so sorry. I got the 9 of Cups confused with something else. Actually, no, it's not too bad. Okay. Basically, the 9 of Cups is saying go out into nature, recharge, refresh. You have luck around you, and this is interesting. You have luck around you, and success is coming. It's almost like a new beginning. Like something new is about to happen, and it's going to be a long, prosperous thing. So, yeah, it is success involved, and it's definitely saying that you should go out into nature. Like, you need to recharge yourself. No being cooped up. Go out to a park, walk around, something like that. This is a good card, actually. This is a really good card. So, yeah, new beginnings. Long term, too. Alright, now, the King of Pentacle. Basically, it's continuing on with the success thing. It's saying that you're going to be successful and get financials and all that. You're going to stay firm with whatever it is you're doing. You're not going to quit. You're planted in the ground. But again, it's also saying that take a break from time to time and be out in nature. Like, I don't know why nature is a big thing for you, but you need to be out in some nature and refresh and re-energize. But whatever you're doing, continue doing it because it's going to bring you financial stability. And it looks like you're made your mind up on it anyway, so you're not going to quit. And the fruit of your labors is going to pay off. So there you go, Brandy. Sorry about that. Messed up with the first one, but this one, yeah, this one's better. All right, Angie, you're up next. And did I lose Neima?
No, still here.
Okay, so Angie, you're up next. Angie, pick a number between 1 and 50. You're welcome, Brandy. 27. Okay. Alright, so what card do you have for Angie, Raphael? What is it that you want her to know or that she should know? Okay, you just don't want to... Oh, there it is. Alright, there we go. Alright, don't worry, Angie. It's not your favorite card. It's not the devil. It's the other one. It's death. But this isn't a bad thing. Actually, it's saying that change is also coming for you. Major change, since this is a major arcana. And with this card, you're making some lifestyle changes, I would say. And you're on a quest to find something almost. Something that'll help you change, not for the worse, but for the better. So I think in this case, an old version of you is leaving and a new version of you is entering. Like you're seeking something that's going to benefit you more and help you change for the positive. Like you're shedding this old nasty energy and birthing something amazing and new. Because even though it's a death card, he has the sun behind him and it's rising. It's not setting. It's not the ending. This is a beginning. So whatever you're seeking, keep seeking it. It's only going to help you.
Yay, that's a good one.
So, okay. And Neima, your turn. Pick a number between 1 and 50.
7.
7. I probably should have known it would be 7. Alright, what do we have for... Wow, this is all over the place. What the heck?
Just kidding.
Alright, what do we have for Neima? What do we have for Neima? Alright, Raphael, anytime you're ready. Okay, thank you. That just kind of came out of nowhere. The 3 of Pentacles. Huh, this is a very peaceful card, actually. And again, with Pentacles, it usually has to do with finances. And I like this card. Let's see. I'm going to my cheat sheet real quick because I have my interpretation. I'm going to mix the two together. But this is a woman who's doing self-reflection. So I'm wondering if you're doing some reflecting of yourself. And
Constantly.
if not, then you definitely should be. It's something that you need to take time out, slow down, and do some self-reflecting. And I think you should also focus on your craft more, meaning that you should... How can I say it? Because I don't want to say too much because I know about you, but then I don't want to say too little. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, Melvin, come on, you know me. That's why you said it. But this is not the case.
No, go ahead. I don't care. Even if that's the case, say it.
Well, I think you should continue focusing on Third Eyed Mystic and continue building it up, because the woman is knitting something and it's something personal and close to her, and she has her pentacles there, and this is going to bring you success.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also something that's peaceful and very loving. And I think you're very passionate about what you do. I think you do love it. And then there are even flowers around, and they're opening up, and this is a beautiful card. And it's almost like saying, yes, this is it. So you need to continue with Third Eyed Mystic, continue growing it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop, because that's going to be a passion that leads you to good to a type of financial stability. Not saying it's going to like give you $1,000,000, but you're going to be satisfied from it. It's something about it that you're going to be happy and content and very satisfied. And it's something
Yeah.
personal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very personal. Like, you cherish this.
Yeah. That makes complete sense, and it kind of goes along with the dream you had as well. So that's good.
Yeah, so
Good news.
there we go.
I will try and stay focused and work on that.
So there you guys have it. We talked about killings and darkness and all that. Ended up with some tarot cards. I will do better next time, though. You got to practice somewhere, though. And I hope you all enjoyed the show. And thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening and chatting and all that good stuff. And if you are interested in any of what Neima is doing, Neima, where can they find you?
You can check out my website at www.thirdeyemystic.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Third Eye Mystic, or Mystic Dealer, and any other avenues, social media avenues you can find through that website.
And those links will be in the description below. Also, don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit. And if you haven't done so, remember to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about us, because we want to continue growing. And
Yes.
as always, remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.